Do not adjust your radio dial. You are tuned in to the Mark Order Podcast. Join the Mark Order.
We should back down a little bit there. Woo, that's hot. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Mark Order Podcast tonight. I'm Agent Joe. As you can see, I'm kind of all alone without my regular co-host, but I was able to call in some favors and, phone my Midwest friends. So we have a very Midwest edition of the Mark Order Podcast tonight. I am joined by my friend Pluggo and my friend Rob Wilson. Guys, how are you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm just hoping my appearance on the Mark Order Podcast lasts longer than Joe Hendry did last night in that Battle Royal.
Bar is low. So, yeah.
But Ryan's not here to boot me tonight, so we're good to go.
So you're saying Ryan would be like a cesarean?
Yeah, Ryan would absolutely throw me out of this thing. Surprised he allowed the invite to happen.
A very high compliment for Ryan.
Yeah, I know. I got to give him one. Like I said, I'm just happy he let me in his home for the evening. I'm definitely stealing something. That's for sure.
Well, Kate and Ryan had left me feeling like Kevin McAllister in Home Alone, where it's like, "Where's everyone at? I'm here by myself, driving the vehicle." So
does that make us the burglars, Rob and I?
Yeah. Ooh, you want me the wet bandits?
Are we the wet bandits, Rob?
Yeah, why not? We might as well be, right?
Joe, you hit me in the face with a paint can, though. I'm out.
Yeah, and if I get a tarantula on my chest, I'm out.
Yeah, so better be nice to us.
I'm literally dead, so because I will have a heart attack. I'm not a spider guy.
I don't blame him either. So what's new? What's going on?
Same old same.
Pretty good Dynamite, man. That was pretty entertaining, I thought.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was packed. The packed show, lot start to finish. It was a good episode.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of really ramping up towards Forbidden Door, and then we have things going in for All In. So it'll be a busy time here in the next couple months.
Yeah. You didn't invite Doc. I see in the chat he said that he wasn't invited, and he is shocked and appalled at the Midwest episode.
I'm sorry, Doc. I mean, between you and the Midwest, I know Kyle K. Sparks is in the Midwest. So
it's a Midwest.
I'm trying to collect my Infinity Gauntlets of all Big Ten regions.
I'm the only one in the Midwest of this group, though, that isn't in Central Time. I've got the Eastern Time zone. So, Joe, on a full shoot, Joe, when you DM me and said we usually start at 9:15, I was like, "Am I an hour late?" Shit.
I forget your.
I was like, "Oh God, I missed it."
I'm like, "Oh, I can finally use my time. I don't have to think about Eastern Time with Ryan and Kate and them." Sorry.
But good thing I was like, I think he's in Central because he's out of Omaha, so perfect.
True.
Yeah.
Well, gents, let's before we dive too much into this, we usually kind of go over some news and notes of going around at AEW, and we have a few things pop up in the last couple of days that we'll kind of touch on here really quick. I know one thing that came announced was the AEW pay-per-view library being available on Triller.
Nice.
So I feel like it's a step closer to what people were wanting as far as having a library of on-demand AEW content. Any thoughts?
Is it free? I have the Triller subscription. Is it included in the subscription?
Fair question. I don't have it, so
because I don't know. I guess I could.
I don't know either. So now I'm going to look because now I'm intrigued.
Yes, only
Let's see here.
Because I know I have seen on Triller past pay-per-views, but they're still like $40. Now, yeah, that's a little rich for my blood, but I have the subscription to Triller because I, watch a lot of the GCW and all that kind of fun stuff. So it'll be a nice little addition to keep me on Triller. No, it's not free. Doc says no. They offer packages. Well, see, that does me no good because I'm balling on a budget.
The Bleacher Report app support man would say that, right? Like he would.
Yeah. Usually he's fixing the app, so
he's
I will say that that's a good move. It is, like you said, one step closer to getting them on some kind of streaming platform. It gives, because that's something, how many times have you sat down and go, I'd like to rewatch, All Out or something from 2020, and you're like, I can't do it because it's not there. I don't know where to find it so that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Some other news that came out. Let's see, Rob, your Fightful connections over there. Fightful Selected reported some updates on Megan Bang and her contract status with AEW, and confirming that she is a free agent right now, but there are talks still among AEW and her. So, are we thinking that she'll work something out? You think she'll test the free agent market and do some independence, or go from their promotion?
I think it comes down to AEW and WWE on this one, because I think she's ready to move on, and if WWE wants her, which I wouldn't see why they would not want her, So, right. And Tony's shown time and time again he's willing to pay, so I think AEW has the upper hand in the right now, but you never know.
Yeah, I guess it's also just the preference for her. I've been watching her a lot. She's been tearing it up on the indies. I don't think she's going to stay on the indies. She looks, I don't know how to say this, and I don't want to be negative towards she looks like a fish out of water when she's wrestling in GCW, right? Because she's got this great look, this presentation, and GCW is a little more gritty, right? But she's been killing it there. So I think it's a preference where she wants to keep doing the indie stuff and maybe keep doing some things, go to AEW. I know that I think she'd do well in WWE, though. She's got the look that they love. She's big, she's strong, she's got a presence about her. So it's up to her, but that's exciting news. That'd be a good get for whoever gets her.
Yeah, whatever she wants to do is like, that's the big thing. Like, I'm always like pro wrestler, like whatever's best for them is what I want for them. So,
absolutely, yeah. Well,
unless it's Drew McIntyre quitting WWE, don't do that, Drew.
How dare you quit on TV?
How dare you do this to us? No, I'm just kidding.
The other piece of news I have here is the a little story that doesn't seem to go away is the Kevin Kelly saga with AEW, and him saying that he is either going to or would file a lawsuit against AEW for libel. He was on Eric Bischoff's podcast when Eric asked him that. So that just seems like a story that just kind of hangs around.
I wouldn't be shocked if Eric was like, you should sue him. And he's like, that's a great idea.
No, I was going to say, I think he did say that, but I got the sarcasm there now. My bad.
Listen, this would be good for my ratings.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about it to make like a real comment on it. I saw the rumblings about it and the things that have happened, but I don't want to make a statement that I don't know too much about on it. So,
right.
Yeah, the biggest thing is it's very unfortunate what's going on, because I actually like both those guys. Mm-hmm. So, and I hope it gets taken. I hope the hatchet gets buried and like everything like that. I don't like seeing those two guys, it's pretty much just Kevin Kelly, because Ian's been avoiding it, which is the smart play.
Yeah.
But I hope it gets avoided. I hope they stop, and I hope nobody gets sued or anything like that, because I don't think he has a good shot. I mean, I know if I had to go against a company, I really don't want to go against a big company, and I definitely don't want to go against NFL attorneys or somebody that's been an NFL attorney, you know.
No, for sure. Yeah, they'll drain your bank account real quick.
Yeah, that's a hard pass for me.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Kevin Kelly's work with New Japan. I thought his work there is really good. His work at AEW is hit or miss for me sometimes, but. And then my last piece of news I had was just the announcement of AEW saying they're taking Dynamite and Collision to the UK over in Cardiff, Wales, leading up to All In that week. So their first time over there, they're kind of expanding their markets, and I guess that makes sense. And now I wonder when they're going to have one in Mexico.
It's about time. That's all I can say. Like, I mean, we've seen them go to Canada. Obviously, to be honest, it's really surprised me. It's taken them this long to do a Dynamite outside of the United States and Canada this long. So, good for Cardiff. Those fans are going to go nuts for it. And I hope it goes well, which I'm anticipating it will, because it's more wrestling. And the other thing, too, that I think is good is it's going to give some local talent in that area some work, too, because Tony usually likes to give local talent a little bit of work. So that's a good thing. So I'm anxious to see where it goes, and I think it's a matter of time before we start seeing more and more. I think this is a good just little rollout per se.
Yeah, I think they've been kind of going to some new markets in the U.S. as well, so they're kind of branching off a little bit and hopefully growing a little bit more. So,
yep.
Well, I think that's all the news and notes I had. Unless there's anything else you guys heard of that I might have missed. When it comes to AEW news,
I think that's about it.
Yeah, nothing really stands out.
It's been a quiet week.
Yeah, for AEW, it's been pretty quiet.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody in their gorilla is dead, so.
That's true. I'm going to just double check the chat to make sure I'm not missing anything here.
Yeah, I know this is an AEW-centric podcast, but there were murders on Monday night.
Yeah.
And we're just acting like nothing happened.
Yeah.
It's perfectly okay in the realm of professional wrestling.
Yes.
We can suspend our belief that far.
If Chad Gable shows up on Monday, I'm going to be pissed.
Well, I mean, he had a triple threat match, so.
Yeah.
Wild stuff. What a week.
Chat. So thank you everyone who's in the chat joining us tonight as usual. To Lieutenant Colonel Photo, Scott George, Doc, who's in here, Ophelia, and Kylie. So thank you so much for tuning in with this motley crew we have tonight. And so I think now is about the time we take our break. But if I was to say that we were a part of a podcast network, Rob, did you know we were a part of a network?
No.
Oh, yeah. Well,
No,
we are part of the Shining Wizards Network. So,
cool.
And Pluggo, there are numerous shows on this network. And, is it something you want to listen to and learn more about?
Always.
There's
More wrestling is better.
It's not just wrestling. It shows all sorts of shows on this network. This conglomeration of shows to, quote Mark Briscoe. So, well, I have some commercial for you to listen to during the break, and we can all learn together. And I will find this overlay, the commercial overlay, and play the commercials here. So.
For you to do that. If you shop at Amazon, go over to amazon.shiningwizards.com, do your shopping as usual, and when you make your purchase, a little bit of that purchase price will go back to support the show. If you like to wear t-shirts, merch.shiningwizards.com will take you to our Pro Wrestling Tee store, where we've got over a dozen great designs from over 11 years of professional wrestling podcasting. You can become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/wizardspodcast, where each and every week we call out your name as one of our show producers, and the more you support us, the more things that you're entitled to receive, and believe me, they are fantastic. If you can't support us monetarily, if you don't shop at Amazon, that's absolutely fine. Continue to listen to us wherever you listen to us on the World Wide Web, and make sure you like, rate, review, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Doesn't cost you anything, helps us out, and we can continue to bring you the love fest that is the Shining Wizards.
What's up, folks? It's your boy, the Impact Player, Mr. Philly Ray, inviting all of you to check out the Turnbuckle Throwbacks Wrestling Podcast. Join us as we cover all things current in the world of pro wrestling, as well as paying homage to the old school, the squared circle. So listen in and find out why we are the recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment broadcasting. Find us on all social media platforms and anywhere you get your podcast from. And as always, we are the proudest members of the Shining Wizards Network and Rant Entertainment Media.
Are you tired of being lied to every day by the mainstream media?
Do you want to know what's really going on in the world?
Do you want to make up your own mind about things and not be told what to think or say?
Then listen to Inconclusive Breakdown, a weekly anti-PC look at the world of entertainment and current events, brought to you without censorship or filters.
You can find us everywhere you listen to podcasts, BitChute, and on ShiningWizardsNetwork.com.
And also, we're a proud member of the Shining Wizards Network.
Got 30 minutes to kill?
Come check out 30 Screams or Less, where we review a horror movie in 30 minutes or less. We cover new movies and old ones too.
We'll give our honest thoughts on the movie, good or shit, as well as a rating of each one that we watch.
New episodes weekly, available on the Shining Wizards Network and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Corey.
Come check us out at 30 Screams or Less.
G'day guys, my name is Thomas, one half of the Broadcast Podcast. With our podcast, we go back and watch wrestling events from WWE, WWF, WCW, ECW, AEW, and many other wrestling promotions. You can check us out on Twitter at The Broadcast, that's THEBROKAST, and you can also download all episodes on Apple Podcast, Castbox, Castro, and many other podcast apps.
You like your music heavy? Then check out Radioactive Metal on the Shining Wizards Network. For over 16 years now, Radioactive Metal has been one of the longest running podcasts. Over the years, we've interviewed some legendary metal acts, had some awesome discussions, and cranked a hell of a lot of tunes. So join your cool Uncle Snowy and his co-host Aaron for the audio mosh pit that is Radioactive Metal here on the Shining Wizards Network.
Well, the action is underway!
What's up, everyone? When on the Shining Wizards Network, be sure to check out Wrestling Night in Canada. If we're not recording another kick-ass podcast,
Or playing in punk bands.
Or recording kick-ass heavy metal albums,
then we're sitting back, we're grabbing a couple brews, and going over everything to do in the world of pro wrestling.
Because we're from Winnipeg, you idiots.
The Mark Order Podcast is the only show you need if you're looking for dedicated coverage of everything AEW on the Shining Wizards Network. Join us live on YouTube every Wednesday night at 10:15 p.m. Eastern after Dynamite to chat along with the show. If you can't join us live, listen to us on your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on all social channels at Mark Order Pod and use the hashtag #JoinTheMarkOrder, because if you don't find us,
we will find you.
I'm Kevin Rowe.
I'm Al Day.
And we're a couple of down-under-pounders that co-host Rogue Day Dots, an action figure collecting podcast where we talk about, well, just about anything that tickles our fancy at any given moment.
We're grumpy old men, and sometimes people get on our nerves. And when you get on our nerves, guess what? You get off the lawn.
Get off my lawn, asshole! We also go on a little bit of a mission. We go back and we're grading every wrestling figure line that's out there. I'm talking LJNs. I'm talking Jacks. I'm talking Hasbros. Who doesn't like a little Hulkaplex? It's a Gorilla Brain Wrestling podcast production found on the Shining Wizards Network.
I'm Duke Bags.
Kevin Rowe.
And together we are the co-hosts of Your Duke and Road. If you want to hear about some terrible wrestling shows, we got you covered.
Well, we talk about good ones, too.
We're currently talking about the death of WCW.
I know what we're fucking talking about. Sometimes we get guest spots, like from the Taskmaster. I like to listen to the Your Duke and Road podcast. They're funny guys. That I like when they talk about the Nards plows. I like Nards plows. That's a good move. And I like the Dungeon of Doom. You know, sometimes I call my butt the Dungeon of Doom. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Oklahoma.
Let me tell you a little bit about my favorite wrestling podcast. All right. It's a podcast from two men, Duke Bags, Kevin Rowe. They talk about professional wrestling. It's a man's sport. All right? And who better to talk about a man's sport than Duke? Oklahoma.
And once in a while, Vince Russo stops by.
Oh, you piece of shit! If you're not listening to the Your Duke and Rowe podcast in the back with the boys, you piece of shit, I don't know what you're doing. It's, you gotta slide one in there. If you're a man, you're talking about something only a man can do. You're talking about sliding one in there. Bro, take the time to slide one in there. All right, bro, you piece of shit. Slide one in there. A Gorilla Brain Wrestling podcast production that you can find on the Shining Wizards Network.
And we're back. So thank you guys for checking those commercials out, and go to the Shining Wizards Network and support some of those shows if you could, please. And while you're feeling supportive, you can support the Mark Order podcast by a couple different ways. We have our social media. You can follow us at Mark Order Pod. You can also, if you would like, support us monetarily by buying a shirt over on our Pro Wrestling Tees store, Pro Wrestling Tees /Mark Order Pod, where we have 4 lovely designs because we value you and your decision making. So we have the big front graphic with our Mike Hand graphic, our Mark Order name text on the front, and then we have a double-sided one with the font on the front and the Mike Hand on the back. And then one of the universally popular ones is the double-sided 2 Mike logo, where we have a small mic on the chest and then a larger logo on the back. So feel free to go to the Mark Order Pod store on ProWrestlingTees.com. They probably should be having a sale here pretty soon. I feel like they always have a sale, especially around the 4th of July. So if you want to save some money, do that. And then we can get right into AEW Dynamite tonight, gentlemen. Before we dive into review-wise, though, I don't know if you're familiar with the Ryan Fun Scale that we debuted last week. No. Okay. Well,
you mean the thing I woke up to the other morning? Ryan's face plaster all over my social medias.
Yes.
Hi, Mrs. Pluggo. Mrs. Pluggo's here. Hi, honey.
Hello.
Hello.
So you don't have to use it, but Ryan likes everything. Everything's fun for Ryan. So we have 4 levels of fun. We have like adequate level of fun, a good amount of fun, a lot of fun, and then like, oh my gosh, like this is fun, overwhelmed fun. So just to set the table for you guys.
How could he possibly think everything is fun?
Ryan is just his own creature of habit. So
he's something.
But so we can use the scale if you want. Don't feel like you're obligated to. I'm just throwing it out there. Ryan told me to try and make you do it. I'm not going to do that because I value your own choice. This is a democracy here. So
unlike Ryan, who doesn't value any of us.
No. So much that he's not hanging out here tonight.
I know. What the heck?
But overall, I thought, I thought the show was a solid Dynamite, probably one of the better ones in the last few weeks I can remember. So overall, guys, what did you think of it? Polio?
Well, Rob, you go. You're ready. You're ready. You're cute. Go ahead. I'll wait.
I mean, I was at Dynamite last week in Des Moines, and I thought this was a better show. And I mean, that's one thing that I took out of this. I thought this was a better show. So the crowd, at least, it felt like was more into it. This one, but I can't really tell on that stuff. But this show, it moved quickly. I enjoyed it. I was really surprised by just how it just transpired. I mean, we had a pretty good tag match between the Young Bucks and the Acclaimed. You had a really good main event, a technical match that I wasn't ready for it to end. I just thought this show was overall really, really fun. So
on a scale of 1 to, it's a 4. It's a 4 fun, right? 5?
Yeah,
is it?
I would say. But a 6 in the Tokyo Dome. So yeah,
Ryan's cheese ball. No, the show moved really fast paced. A hot crowd to start off with. MJF and Roosh was fantastic, and then just they kept that energy all night, and they were able to pack in a lot of things. Like, because sometimes when AEW has all these pay-per-views things coming up, sometimes it's like, how are they going to fit it all in? I thought tonight they did a really good job of fitting things in for, like you said, All In, Forbidden Door. They've planted some seeds of some storylines for the future. Like, it's a good show, really good show overall.
Yeah, can't agree more there. So let's jump into that first match you talked about, MJF versus Roosh, and it was really, it's opening match, commercial free, lasted probably about 17, 18 minutes, and man, these guys just hit the shit out of each other. I felt like it. Laid into each other, and it really ends toward the end with Max kind of firing back and pushing Roosh into the corner, hitting a lariat, spine buster, mounting him, punching him, throwing his face off a turnbuckle, and then he sets him up for that kind of a teardrop brain buster to get the pin. So we'll start with Flojo, man, tell me, what do you think about this opener?
They were they were beating the crap out of each other, man. It was wild. I was sitting. I watch every time I see a Roosh match. I'm not disappointed, and then I'm always like in the back of my mind, why don't they use this guy more? Because he's so good, and like him and MJF had a really good chemistry here. And to MJF's credit, though, he really made Roosh look like a top star, because when he debuted back and you saw the internet trolls being like, oh, MJF's back and he's facing Roosh, what a downgrade. MJF really sold his ass off tonight for Roosh, man. Like, that match humped the whole way through, and I really enjoyed it. And I wish it would have been, you said it was like 17, 18 minutes. I wish they would have gotten 20, 25. I wasn't ready for that match to end myself, but it was a really good open. It was hot. The crowd was into it. It was awesome.
More importantly, how much fun did you have? If you're putting Ryan's,
it's 1 through 4, right?
Yes.
A 4. Do you have to put his face on the screen?
Yes, we can look at his face real quick here.
Really? Oh, shoot. Oh, my God. I just peed a little. Yeah. Especially when he had him in, like, the cable. The only thing I didn't like about that spot was the commentators like, the ref didn't see it. How'd the cable get there?
That's fair point.
The ref didn't see him bring the cable out. He was using it, though. But it was I had a good time. That open was hot.
Rob, I have to feel, Rob, you're probably in the same ballpark here at what Flojo was saying.
Yeah, I did look on Cage Match. It went 14 minutes and 19 seconds. So, but yeah, it was one of those things where I enjoyed the match. They both beat the hell out of each other. That's the thing you're going to get with Roosh. Anytime he's in a match, you're going to get your butt kicked, and you're going to. It sounds like I made it sound like I wrestle, but I'm saying you can tell somebody's getting their ass kicked when they're wrestling Roosh, and that's what I like about him. This match was really good. It was really solid. last week going into it, I thought this was going to be the main event for this week, but the fact that they went with the Owen Hart actually makes me happier that they went that route, because I enjoyed the ending for tonight's show. But going back to this match, I thought it was a good way to start the show. You get people sitting right there watching, commercial free, so they're not getting up, they're not changing the channel. You got two guys just that people like to watch for the most part, that I believe, and they did beat the hell out of each other, and that's what we like. And out of a level 1 to 4, I'd say a 3 for me.
3. Rob gives it a 3, so that's a lot of fun.
Jesus Christ. That's face. I love Ryan. I'm just, oh God.
Yeah, I thought the match was really good, especially for, a couple weeks, like a couple week build. It was only really like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I really thought that MJF and Roosh kind of mirrored each other as far as their personas. They're both kind of very into themselves. They kind of have similar styles. I like kind of each man trying to one up one another, whether it's taunting or an actual move. So I had a lot of fun with this. I would probably give it a 3 as well. And I'm going to save you from having to see Ryan's face again.
No, it's all right.
We just saw it. So
this isn't my house. I'm just hanging out here. I'm Airbnb-ing it today. So, yeah.
Well, after the match, we had our friends Cage of Agony and Heshijero appear on the big screen there, and Brian Cage was telling MJF that who his opponent was going to be at Forbidden Door, which is Heshijero, and he cuts a promo in Spanish, which my high school level Spanish did not interpret very well, but so that looks like it's set up, and then we kind of see them come back later in the night. So we'll put a pin in that one. Then we also go backstage to Renee Paquette in the back, and she's interviewing the face team of Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy, Dante Martin, and Mark Briscoe as they prepare for their 8-man tag. And it really is just an opportunity for Mark Briscoe to repeat his backstage promo abilities like he did last week. Mainly just saying there's 2 words for the night. And I think other than that, yeah, Scapegoat Jack Perry walked by and he just said, tell him to get his ass out of here. And it was just a lot of fun. But any thoughts on the backstage segment there?
Get your ass out of here, Jack Perry.
I thought it was solid. I think what they're doing is setting up. I think when he came through there, I think that what that did for us was set up Dante Martin versus Jack Perry in an Owen Hart match, is what I think this does. The overall, a good 8-man tag match. You basically add Dante Martin and you add Zack Sabre Jr. from the match that they had last week in Des Moines. Overall, this match was a lot of fun for me. Like, I give this one a 4 because every single one of these guys I like watching, and I'm starting to get more intrigued with the Don Callis family. Believe it or not, this is starting to intrigue me more, even with what happened tonight with Ospreay. So this match was fun, but I'll be honest. All 8 of these guys, I'm a big fan of. I could watch them wrestle many times. So I really like that this match went the way it did. I thought it was a good way to go. You had to go with the faces this time instead of the heels like they did last week to keep it moving. And the promo that we had lead up was classic too. Good stuff.
Yeah, I think.
Why was Kyle O'Reilly shaking his head when it's like, "That's Kyle O'Reilly"? And he's like, "What were you doing, Kyle?
Yeah,
I need answers."
It was a lot of fun. It's these 8-man tags. They're just so spot heavy, and so you get a lot of those like one-on-one type of things, and then you have someone does a jump or a dive off the ropes into the crowd people. But I thought, like you said, I think it really elevated with adding ZSJ and Dante. I thought it really highlighted Dante a lot in this match, and so I think that obviously sets him up well in the Owen. At least gives him some credibility, gives him some wins along the way.
I'm a huge fan of Dante Martin, man. I love me some Dante Martin. I had thought the way the match had started out, I was like, oh God, this is going to be too much. There's too much going on here. There's too many moving parts. I almost wanted to be like the sum of the parts isn't worth it as a whole. Like, I don't know. I just was all over the place, but it came around really well. They figured it out after all that kind of like initial, like out of controlness, and they reined it in really well. Super fun match. I love all 8 of these individuals for different reasons. So putting them all in a match for me was pretty cool. Crazy spots too. I love me some Dante Martin. He's so good. God.
And then after the match, Jack Perry makes his reappearance and lays out Dante Martin on the stage there. And, Mark Briscoe.
That's scapegoat my ass.
Mark Briscoe chases after him, and then Takeshita goes up there and they brawl. And then that leaves Orange and ZSJ to face off in the ring to kind of seize their Forbidden Door match. So it did a lot. Like it set up a lot of things in that match.
Yeah, maybe we'll get Jack Perry, Dante Martin for fun. That'd be cool. Just like a one-off. That'd be kind of fun.
I mean, that's where I think this is gonna go. I mean, I think they're gonna have an Owen Hart match, tournament match.
Mm.
Well, before we move on, I wanted to say we have a running bit here, so we stop and say hello to Jesse Ozog.
Hello.
Friend. So hello, Jesse Ozog.
Ryan, hello, Jesse Ozog.
Hello.
We'll go back after the initial backstage segment with the faces. Will Ospreay came out to the ring, and he had a little face-to-face with Swerve Strickland to kind of hype up their upcoming match. I thought it was a really good promo by Will, a little bit more serious, a little not so over-the-top, smiley, cheesy face Will. It was more, I'm here to fight you. I'm tired of being disrespected. I think Swerve really kind of challenges him, talking about, whether or not he can handle the pressure of handling multiple titles. And I really like Ospreay's line, back at Strickland later on about, his hit list and hit row. And then it sounds like Swerve did what Swerve does and kind of made it personal. And he has a history of making it personal when it comes to people's families. So, Rob, what'd you think of the promo?
Oh, I liked it. And I liked the fact that they did not. Okay, so one thing that I know is the internet is kind of filled with hate sometimes. And I don't know if you guys have noticed that before, but it's nothing new. But I liked how it wasn't even a shot at like the hit row thing. It wasn't a shot. It was just him like bringing up the hit row thing. I absolutely loved it. I thought that was brilliant the way he did it, and kudos. I thought it was great because it got people talking. There were a lot of people talking on Twitter about it, and that was well done, well played. This is what I look at it from a business standpoint. You get a lot of people like, wow, they mentioned something WWE related, but they didn't take a shot. Like, there were actually some people that didn't like lose their mind over it. So I'm like, that was actually rather interesting. I liked how they did that. Mm-hmm. And I just thought that was like pretty. The nerd in me, the fourth wall guy, enjoyed that. I enjoyed the whole thing because Will has talked about his son, a lot, and how much like he means to him. And he told Swerve, don't bring his name up again. And then once he's on those steps, Swerve brings it up, and he just goes right in there, and they butt heads. And I'm like, that's what a goat does, They butt heads. It's like, let's go. I'm ready for this match. This match is going to kick ass, and they are doing a great job building it up, and I'm glad they are building it because we got another Dynamite to go for next week, and we know that Osprey is going to be on Collision this week, so let's keep it going. I like it.
Prince Nana, the voice of reason. That was this match is going to. I initially, when they announced that they were going to do this match, I thought it was too quick because he just won the international title. But no, the whole thing has been awesome. It's two of the top guys going at it. Swerve was killing it. I loved all the Swerve stuff too, where he's like, "Would they love you, Will, if you broke your leg tomorrow? Would these people still be here for you because this is all you have? I've got all this too, plus this." Like, there was just so much going on. They were throwing the hip row stuff at each other, the kid stuff. Just it's gonna get interesting. I can't wait for Forbidden Door. I can't wait for that thing to be the main event. And that's what Swerve says. Like, I'm in the main. You're in the main event because of me. It's not the other way around. This is your first main event in a pay-per-view ever. So it's going to be great. You know, Ospreay's going to come out and have a lot to prove, which is crazy to say that Will Ospreay has a lot to prove, right? But Swerve is angling it to, like, you got to prove to me. You got to prove to these people that you can hang with me. And I really like that he's going toe-to-toe with one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet, and they're both going to – I'd be shocked if it didn't steal the show.
And another thing this promo did was Swerve kind of played into the, Will Ospreay – dissension or a slow departure from the Callis family.
Mm-hmm.
And, do you need Don Callis in the family? And he said, no, I don't need him. And, you have that backstage shot of them watching TV and Trent taking a disrespect and Kyle Fletcher looking conflicted. So that will play out eventually, I'm sure, down the road.
I tell Trent, you need to calm down, Trent. You just joined this family. Relax.
Yeah. And, the other thing too, you bring up a good point, like with the Callis family. I think we're gonna see Will Ospreay be part of the Blood and Guts match. I think him and Swerve are gonna be fine after this match. I think they're gonna shake hands, kiss babies, throw babies, as I like to say. Anyways, they're gonna team up at Blood and Guts. So he's gonna be one of the guys taking on the Young Bucks too, in my opinion. So it'll be very interesting to see how this goes. But I think it's all going to be good in the end, and it'll be interesting to see. That's my thought process. I think Will's going to be part of the Blood and Guts match
until next week when Swerve shows up at Will Ospreay's house and gives his baby a T-shirt.
That too.
Like, that's just Swerve's, like, that's his calling card for his career. He just shows up and gives his opponent's kids his merch.
Yeah.
Commitment to fly over to, England.
Hey, Swerve,
that would be.
Swerve's got the money. He's got the time. He'd make it happen.
There you go.
Well, after that, we have the 8-man tag, which we kind of discussed already. So we'll move on from there. We have a Mercedes Moné package, a little vignette to kind of hype up her upcoming match with CMLL champion Stephanie McCool. I think last week we had a little vignette for Stephanie to kind of build her up a little bit and let people get introduced to her and her accolades. So, did it do anything for you? Did it help build this match for you at all, guys?
Oh, I was already ready for this match, but for like other people, I hope it does help them. Like, I hope this gets them more motivated for the match. I think this match is going to kick ass too. Stephanie is just great to watch, and Mercedes, we already know she's great to watch. So it's going to be good stuff.
And that's same. But I know there's the people that are like, who's she facing? Who's this? That's the point. Get to know these people. Maybe you'll find somebody new you like. If you don't, okay. But yeah, the match is going to be a good one. It's going to be a good time.
Well, yeah, I think this is kind of why Mercedes decides to sign with AEW, to have these opportunities to wrestle all sorts of different opponents from around the world, whether it's New Japan or CMLL or wherever else.
And that $10 million didn't hurt either. But no, this is a good thing. This is good for AEW. It's good for Mercedes. It's good for the women that she faces, that you do get some more exposure throughout globally, and you let Mercedes Moné have some of these matches that maybe she couldn't have, elsewhere, which I think is a great thing.
Yeah, I think it also kind of highlights, it lets her kind of wrestle a little different style then she would probably be wrestling in the WWE, where she can adapt to lucha or to more Japanese style. So
yeah. I think I said it on another show. We were talking about like Edge or Adam Copeland, how he was adding new moves into each match he was having, and I said, that's probably a similar thing for Mercedes. Is like, she gets to wrestle these different styles, because for all of the good things that WWE does, don't get me wrong, like you can pretty much call out a Sasha Banks match or an Edge match. Like, it's very like, we do this is how we get there. And sure, they'll throw some variety in there once in a while, but getting the opportunity to wrestle all sorts of different styles all the time makes probably the inner wrestler in her super excited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, moving on, we're talking about the Don Callis family, and we see Roosh backstage, and he's visibly upset after that loss, and all of a sudden you see a hand just out of nowhere to kind of peer into the screen with a ring on it, and it's good old Don Callis speaking Spanish to him and trying to, I think, slowly recruit him maybe into the family. So do you think that's the direction, and do you think Roosh is a fit for the family?
I don't think anyone's a fit for the Don Callis family, so I'll sit this one out.
Yeah, I don't. I think this is actually a good way. And this is Rob Wilkins' fantasy booking here, but I think this is a good way, actually, maybe for you to eventually get Roosh to be a face, where he has enough of like this Don Callis crap, and he's like pushes him away, because everybody hates Don Callis. That's the one thing that people across the country, across the world rather, can agree on, is Don Callis. Don Callis is so good at his job that people hate him. So he does his job well. So I actually think this is a way that you could actually make this work really well for Roosh, in my opinion. Will they do this? No, because I'm predicting it and I suck at predictions. So there you go. But
I will say though, all of Don Callis' recruiting though to get more people into the family, I wonder how that will play with like a Fletcher and a Takeshita and Chucky T, not Chucky, Trent. Like, will they start to be like, what the heck, we're not good enough? Why do you keep trying? You went with Orange Cassidy, now you're going for Roosh. So there's some intrigue there. But yeah, Don Callis family sucks.
I like where you're going with that, Rob. I like the idea of maybe using it to help Roosh kind of.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because it's hard for me to see him being in a faction where he's not the primary, because he's always been kind of the alpha, and the Don Callis family, Don kind of the figure piece. Even though you have Will, even when you had Kenny Omega, it was always more like about Don than the actual talent themselves. So
yeah,
I like where your head's at. I will get on board that bandwagon.
Cool. There's my one good idea for the year, so I'm out. So I'll see you guys in December.
All right.
Well, up next.
But if it hits, though.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
On this day, Wednesday, June 19th. What didn't hit was the sound for Platinum Max Caster as he came out with the Acclaimed, and for their what they call the Eliminator match?
Yeah, the tag team Eliminator match.
So as he's coming down to do his rap, his spiel, the audio cuts out, and we don't know why. And then the camera shows us backstage that our friend Kazuchika Okada is manning the soundboard and doing his best Okada comedy and wondering, oh no, I touched the button. And then
no, he's amazing.
And finishing it off with his signal bitch. So
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just said before we get into the match, but the Okada comedy stuff is perfect.
Can we get a 4 on the Ryan scale for Okada's comedy, please?
Oh my gosh, it's
every time. I know what he's gonna do every time, and I laugh every time he does it.
I just love you, just like, and you're like,
oh no,
yeah, just perfect.
The dead face.
And if you would have told me that we would be getting this kind of Okada in AEW, like last year at this time, I'd be like, 1, you're nuts. 2, I don't like it at all. I think sounds like a horrible idea.
Right?
And it's actually being great. It's been great. So I'm all for it.
Again, he's getting paid handsomely, so I don't think it matters. But I can't imagine him going, okay, this is what you want me to do. And I bet you, like, he's probably like, yeah, let's have some fun with it. I've done the Super Series Rainmaker thing. I've done all this. I've had, 6-star bangers at the Tokyo Dome. Let's have some fun here for a little bit. Like, yeah, dude, this has been just classic, dude. Oh, man.
Yeah.
The way he says, I pushed the wrong button. Sorry, bitch. Like, goddamn. So good.
Well, they do at least get in the ring and start the match, and Bowen's leg is heavily taped, so that's obviously a big target and a part of the story of the match tonight. So that just worked over pretty well throughout the match. A lot of back and forth. The Bucks stopped to pump up their Reebok pumps and hit a super kick with them, which I thought was a nice bit of synergy and marketing. And then I think I can't remember who had the belt, but they're trying to hit him with the.
I think it was Nick.
It was.
Yeah, it was Nick with the belt, and he hit Matt.
Yes, I think I can't remember. Went in there, yeah, and that eventually led to the Acclaim's arrival, mic drop, and the pin for the 1, 2, 3. So they earn themselves a title match. Yay.
I had to do some fact checking. I didn't realize people won eliminator matches. This is I guess the 5th one, but it's the first one that I can remember in the last sort of while. So yeah, Bowens took an absolute beating in this match and kept being resilient. I kept going, that's it. There's no way they're winning this thing, right? They pulled it out, and I thought the match was solid overall.
Rob, how do you feel about the Acclaimed and them getting a title shot?
I was really surprised to see the title holders lose. You don't see that often in AEW, like Pluggo said. So I thought it was really well done. I'm curious to see when they get that title match. They didn't say Forbidden Door, so I'm wondering if it's going to be after, or maybe it's going to be, who knows when. But I thought it was a good match. I was actually really surprised, and I think what made me be a little bit more okay with this was the fact that it kind of, I was afraid that we were going to get the Acclaimed part of Blood and Guts, and we still can, but now it puts my mind at ease that they might not be, with them being part of this eliminator match or eliminator title match or whatever. But that's what I was worried about the most out of all of this was them. I did not want them in the Blood and Guts match, so that's the way I'm looking at it, from like a down the road type thing. So this tells me they get another match with the Young Bucks that won't be involved with the Blood and Guts, so that makes me actually pretty happy.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by the fact that this was going to be the first time the Bucks lost, especially with them being the position they're in right now and the story they're in. I don't know. I feel like they could have gone maybe with a different tag team instead of the Acclaimed to do this with. I feel like the Acclaimed, we've been there, done that with them, and we could have done this with, Top Flight or with Private Party or some other tag team that maybe could have used it a little bit more. I guess I feel like the Acclaimed has kind of at their peak and kind of on the downtrend where we could have helped another tag team out in this position.
Yeah, because do we ultimately, I get what you're going with that, Joe, because ultimately, at the end of the day, do I see the Acclaim being the one set to throw the Bucks for the tag titles? I think it'll be a fun program, and I think there'll be a lot of good things to come out of it, but I don't think that they ultimately win it, so we'll see. But yeah, I get it makes sense.
Yeah, I wonder if things changed that now that Dak is on the shelf, so FTR is not in the mix now. So
can't go back to the well. Not that that's a great well to go back to, the FTR Bucks, but they do go to that one quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a good safety net.
Yeah.
Well, after that, we go backstage and we see Samoa Joe and Hook walking the hallways there, and Samoa Joe is. I love his little conversation he has before they're about to do something. It's the most random stuff ever. It's just a whole the comedy side of Samoa Joe is great, and then they prepare to enter the Premier Athletes locker room, and they jump in there, and there's no one there, and there's a note challenging them to a 6-man tag. So it'll be the Premier Athletes against Shibata and Hook and Joe. So that should be a slaughter. But
that should be a quick one.
What did you guys think of these little backstage segments they've been doing with Samoa Joe and Hook and Shibata and kind of do you see them as a potential 6-man tag champ or a tag champ or any kind of do you think they'll have any kind of belts in their future?
No, I don't. I think I know this is obviously an AEW show. Samoa Joe, he has that Randy Orton type thing for me. Like, it's just a matter of time before he turns on whoever it is, whoever it's going to be. So I think that's where we're at with this now. But I'm actually intrigued this time because I actually like Samoa Joe being a mentor to somebody. Yeah. And if there's somebody that reminds me of Taz that's wrestling right now in a way, it's definitely Samoa Joe. So I actually really enjoy this, and I hope they keep it going for a while. But I don't necessarily see tag team titles like in the future. Would I be 100% okay with it? Absolutely, I would be, because I'll be. If there's one tag team that I'd like to see get added to the Blood and Guts match, it would actually be Hook and Samoa Joe. I would love for those guys to be in that match. So, we'll have to go from there. But and maybe that's the way you maybe that's the way you get titles on those guys. Maybe if that's the way they want to go. I know they'll need more tag matches to get into the title contender, but I do like what they're doing. Plus, they're beating up Mark Sterling, and you gotta like that.
That is it, right?
Yeah,
I could watch Hook on my screen for 2 hours straight. Everybody knows that I'm a big Hook fan, but I like these little backstage shapes too, because for a long time there, and it was working, but it it only can go so far. You take badass wrestler X, just put him in a match like Shibata. He has a killer match. You need to put some character behind him too. So whether you like it or not, like if it doesn't work for you, like that's a different conversation. Wrestling is super subjective, but like it's cool to see them trying like, oh, here's badass wrestler Shibata. Here's a really funny gimmick we're doing with him with the phone, or here's Samoa Joe. He's a top of the card guy, but look, he's also got some fun little comedy stuff he can do with Hook and be a mentor in that spot until we figure out a way to get him back to the top, because you can't always be on top. So I enjoy these little things. They're fun. If they don't work for you, then that's okay too, but they work for me. I like it. I have fun with it. It's Hook. It's Samoa Joe. It's Shibata. That's what more fun is going to have. They're going to beat the shit out of Tony Nese.
Well,
I didn't even know Tony Nese was still employed until like last week. I was like, I thought he was long gone.
Well,
I had forgotten he was on the roster.
What happened to Josh Woods? I feel like he used to be a part of that group.
Yeah, he was at one point. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
But that's always been a little bit of a problem with AEW is they have these bloated rosters with all these talents that they're not using, and then I would rather them use them in these little ways and have little fun little Rampage or Collision matches or whatever than just not use them at all. So I think it's a win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, from talking about Tony Nese, we'll go to another Tony and Tony Storm, who wins far more often than Tony Nese does.
A little bit. A little bit more. Yeah.
So we have the Women's World Championship contract signing for Forbidden Door with the Mariah May, the object of affection for Tony and Mina, presiding over the contract signing. And Mina is very talkative in this contract signing, saying that Tony had gotten soft since winning the title, and she lost the edge. And she gets a little stern with Mariah as well, so telling her to shut up, and then Tony just tells her to, don't raise her voice with the child, and her usual watch out for the shoe, and then we get a interruption from Saraya and Harley and the Outcasts, and as they prepare to look at them, and we get a jump attack by Anna Jay. So apparently Anna Jay is aligned with the Outcasts, which I guess good for giving her something to do. And then Tony gets kind of the brunt of the beatdown, while Mina and Mariah May are retreated up the ramp looking on. So, guys, first, what do you think of the contract signing? How do you think it went between the two of them? And then what do you think about this little the post angle?
I thought it was pretty good. To set up the match. You're not going to hear me complain about Mina being on my TV. You're not going to hear me complain about Harley Cameron being on my TV. There's just people you won't hear me complain about being on my TV. And I enjoyed that segment. I thought it was good. Toni Storm always makes me laugh. Her segments make me laugh. They're good. And I was wondering where they were going with Saraya, with this, because I was kind of like, oh, are they going to do this thing where they're going to be tag partners before they have a match? Because I don't really want this. So I was glad it didn't go that route. But they did add some more intrigue for Toni Storm at the end, because she was looking down and seeing Mina and Mariah at the ramp, and she kind of had this what? Hey, that's not cool type look, and so it adds a little bit more intrigue to that. And part of me still thinks we're getting Mariah May versus Toni Storm at Wembley, but it's very possible if Jamie Hayter's back. I think we might get Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm.
I forgot to mention during the back and forth between Tony and Mina that Mina did give Mariah a little bit of an ultimatum of that she has to choose.
Right, and then that's when Saraya came out. So are we going to get Mariah May on a pole match here? Is that what we're doing? The custody of Mariah May?
Y'all had me. Oh, okay. You're talking about a different. Okay.
Oh yeah, I've definitely talking about a different.
Only one woman.
But when Mina called Toni Storm soft, that place went nuts, and I was like, Jesus, guys. The crowd, that's how hot they were. It was a contract signing, a lot of intrigue. I'm interested to see where Mariah May's allegiances lie. How much is Mina Shirakawa ultimately? Is she going to be in AEW, or is this to do this Forbidden Store stuff? And she's just been so popular. Tony's been using her more, because that'll be interesting, because she's not officially signed or anything. So we'll see. But I like it. I like the energy. I like the Saraya interaction. There's a lot going on there. Like you said, Jamie Hayter could be coming around the corner. I think the business is picking up for the women's championship picture.
Well, I think looking, and then coming after this, we get the bracket reveals for the Owen, for the men's and women's, and and with the stipulation of the winner gets a title shot, I'm kind of leaning toward Mariah May winning this.
No,
I think that's how you get the Mariah May Toni Storm match.
That'd be a good one. She's won the cup, and then Toni Storm kind of tries to talk her down from wrestling her, and yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be good. By the way, I wish they would release these brackets before the match, not 5 minutes before the match, so that I could make proper picks. And unless I missed it, But I was like, oh shit, bracket's out. What match is next? Damn it.
they're very very short brackets with quarterfinal matches being first round, but then like having some first round matches this week, some first round matches are at Forbidden Door. So it's like they're spread out quite a bit. But which the brackets, I guess, once you guys both saw them.
The wild card's what draws my interest a lot. I'm thinking that's going to be Hangman Page. But part of me was really hoping, like, this is going to sound really ridiculous probably to you guys, but because of I grew up an Owen Hart guy. I mean, I loved Owen Hart. I was a Hart Foundation guy. So part of me was just kind of thinking it'd be pretty cool if Jeff Jarrett made it to the finals, but so I think that's my thought. I think
I'm just picturing Rob, like younger Rob, dressed as like Owen from his high energy days with like the neon, like the baggy.
Yeah, which would have made sense because the high energy thing. Because I like them too back in the day. I was like one of their 4 fans, so it was great. So I thought they looked cool.
I don't know who the wild card's going to be. You know how this goes if you know me. If there's any wild card or debut, I'm picking Marco Stunt to be the entrant. That's just how it's going to go. I don't know if this show's ready for that, but Kate and Ryan and all them know that's where I go with my picks. I get yelled at on a regular basis. But no, I think the wild card, it could be Hangman Page. I agree with Rob, even though I don't want to agree with Rob because I'm not a Jeff Jarrett guy. But if you want to tell a fun story because of the history, you could do that, I guess.
Yeah, it's not going to happen by any means. Like, that's just me, like, right. Like if I'm playing a video game, that's how I'd control it type thing. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, if anything, the way I look at it, him just being part of it is good enough.
Yeah, no, he's,
so I think it's good enough.
And on the women's side, I really enjoyed like Willow's promo tonight. Stats in this thing, so maybe we can get Willow and Stat in the final if they're on the. I can't remember which side. That would be a fun Owen Cup final for me if we could get Willow and Statlander to kind of pay this thing off, and then one of them gets a title shot at Tony Storm or Mina Shirakawa, whoever wins that thing at Forbidden Door. So that would be fun.
Let's see, Big G. I think Will Ospreay. I think he's gonna be busy. He has so many other things going on with international title and then world title. And
listen, I'm all for more Will Ospreay, but if Tony Khan's like, "You're in the 0-2," I'm just gonna go, "Come on, man."
Yeah.
Jesse Oza is hoping for Keith Lee.
Keith Lee would be fun.
I'd be okay. As far as like the Statlander one, you said that if Willow wins, she faces Statlander next.
Oh, so on the same side?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, okay. So sorry, I glanced.
I think
at the
that's
bracket.
a good thing that they went that route because that way they don't. I think it would have been kind of too predictable if they went that route. So I like that they're doing this, getting it out of the way. So and that gives you a main event, in my opinion, too. I think that could be a main event match.
You know what I should have done is I should have done my research and paid attention.
What show you think you're on? Come on.
Like I saw the brackets. I didn't know Joe was going to hit me with all this like bracketology today.
Yeah, Joe like Lunardi. Yeah, all the Joes.
Yeah, you did.
Joe's, if there's a bracket involved, there's
who were the first 4 out of the Owen?
Marco Stunt.
Marco Stunt. Brian Cage just missed it.
What I know I saw some people like wish listing like maybe the mystery one on the men's side. People were hoping for maybe Ricochet. I know it's a kind of a pipe dream, I think, but
that would. When is his contract officially over? Right?
It's sometime in July.
They would have to really drag that thing out.
It's not gonna happen. I think, and the reason why I think Ospreay and I've said this on my show. I think the reason why Ospreay and Swerve's happening so quickly is because they got Ospreay versus Ricochet at All In now. is why I think that's
Hmm?
is why I think that happened.
Hopefully he can recover from the beatdown he took.
Yeah, well, yeah,
he is in a full body cast right now.
Yeah, and he didn't die on Monday. He wasn't there, so he's alive.
Do you think a small part of Triple H was like, damn it, I can't kill Ricochet off in the Wyatt Six thing? Just murder him outright. I got to do this Braun thing the week before.
Man.
Well, we mentioned Chris Statlander. The next match coming up on the card here tonight was Statlander versus Nyla Rose. So in the first round of the not first round, but the quarterfinal of the Owen Hart Cup. It's been a while since we've seen Nyla on Dynamite, so it's good to see her, and especially in the DMV area.
Is this her first match on Dynamite this year? I want to feel like it is.
Oh, I feel like it's been a while.
It's been so long. I was glad to have her back. I love Nyla Rose. I think she's fantastic.
But it wasn't very long of a match. It's two strong women laying their crap into each other again. Statlander finished her off with that tombstone pile driver. That was impressive for me. So, what do you think?
Every night is Saturday night, dude. No, I've been really digging this Statlander since she's turned. Digging this whole thing with her and Stoke. It was good to see Nyla. I think the match was fine. I don't think there was anything like over the top exciting about it. It was just, look, we're going to prove that Statlander's probably 1A, if not 1B, for the one to win this Owen Cup. So, yeah, that's all I got. Nothing too crazy, but I love me some Chris Statlander.
Yeah, she's that was her first Dynamite match. She had a dark match a couple weeks ago, but that was her first Dynamite match, and she didn't even have a Collision match this year. So she's had Ring of Honor matches and wrestled some independent. So
yeah,
so good to see her on TV.
Yeah, she's always kind of one of those that you can kind of go to the well because she was a former champion, so you have that credibility whenever you want to put someone up against her.
Mm-hmm.
So after that post match, we talked a little bit about the promo and Willow Nightingale kind of interrupting Stokely. And talk a little bit about that. So we'll kind of move on from that. Willow will face Serena Deeb in her quarterfinal match on Friday on Rampage. So that will be interesting. I think Deeb's going to take that loss, and
that's kind of a bummer.
It is, because they kind of built her up a little bit for that match, and then she kind of had fallen back down to that low mid card spot again.
Yeah.
Which I wish they would give her. I wish they would give her a faction. Like I want her dojo to be something.
That'd be cool. Marco Stunt could be a part of it.
At least like a adjunct professor or something.
No, but the Deep JoJo, that'd be fun. I'd be cool with that. Some of those little vignettes of her with some of this talent, some of the women's talent or something, especially like shit them up. Oh yeah.
In past weeks when Kate's been on, she's talked about maybe it'd be cool if maybe Ty Mello came back and could be a part of that or something, like having that kind of background, the combat background.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, we go backstage with Renee Paquette again, and she's with Private Party. And yes, oh my God, it is Private Party. So she's asking them about their jump on Chris Jericho in the learning tree the previous week. And then we get the learning tree at the stage left. I think that's stage left. And Jericho's giving them advice about facing luchadors from his time being in Mexico and telling them how to avoid tombstone pile drivers. And that didn't work for him, brother. And then Brian Keith tells them about respecting Chris Jericho, and that is pretty much the segment. So, and it sounds like they have a match with Redwood and the Bad Apple, I think maybe on Saturday, what they set up for. So, guys, what you're thinking, what are your thoughts on this learning tree, and how are you liking this program with Private Party right now?
Okay, so Jericho, like a lot of people, he's been driving. Like I've been like one of those people, just like, okay, let's do your thing and let's move on. I have to say, this has been somewhat entertaining for me, because I know that it's so bad that it's actually, I kind of want to watch the train wreck, you know? So, because I can't stand it still, but I'm actually, at least I'm getting a laugh out of it, because I just know the way it is. And I think the best thing is Big Bill, like out of it, is made it better for me, just because it's just so far out there.
He's such a lackey too. He's
I'm just ready for Enzo to come back and be with him, like now, just to get this even better. But I mean, it's one of those things. At least it's different.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I can say about Jericho. At least it's different. So we'll see how long this lasts. I think it's going okay. I just hope they don't. The problem with Jericho can be is sometimes they just let it go for way too long, and I hope that doesn't happen this time. But history says it will. So
yeah. Do you want me to analyze this with my heart or with my head? Because, like, in my heart, get off my TV screen, Chris Jericho. Sick of you vortexing my favorite people. Brian Keith rules. But will I say Brian Keith has been my favorite thing about the Learning Tree? That baby better respect Chris Jericho. And yes, I see the value in it. I understand that Chris Jericho could do good things with this, and he's overselling it, sure. But is it for me? Not so much, but it's only because leave my favorites alone. It was First Hook, now it's Brian Keith. Good vortexing people.
You know, the one thing I will say to add on to that is there is a positive out of this. We are getting Brian Keith on TV.
Yes. Well, hopefully in a spot where he starts picking up some wins too, at least.
Yes.
That would be nice. So yeah, I'm all for that.
There is that silver lining where, you know, you're getting Brian Keith on TV almost every week now. You have Private Party on TV and Feud. I think tonight was a good use of the Learning Tree, which is a small little segment. I don't need a whole show with multiple segments of it. So
I don't need him telling me how to eat corn at catering.
True. The long way. Yeah.
Right? I scoop it like this.
We're from the Midwest. We know how to eat corn. Come on.
Right.
Moving on, we go back to the ring, and it's our favorite Red Death Daniel Garcia versus Rhett Titus in a squash match.
Super quick.
As they keep, they're giving Garcia the wins since they're trying to build him up to be that, a contender for the international title. So I get that. It'd be nice if they gave him some meaningful wins and not just these, jobber type wins, these squash wins. But after he wins by pinfall with the DDT, Gates of Agony or I guess Cage of Agony and Heshero come to the ring and they beat up Daddy Magic and Garcia. And then MJF, our favorite scumbag, comes and makes the save from the earlier promo we got. He goes after them, but the numbers game gets to him, of course, because it always does. But then it's our favorite Billy Goat, Will Ospreay, for the save. He comes in, does his thing, handspring kicks, clears the ring, and then he let's see, I'm trying to think. He gives a little nod to Garcia, helps him up, and then MJF kind of goes on his way. So we have those three men all eyeing the international title. I guess, guys, what are you thinking with this program go? Do you think we'll go to a triple threat match, or do you think there'll be Garcia MJF matches to lead to a one-on-one with Ospreay? And when are we going to get this?
Well, I mean, the thing is I really don't know. Like when MJF got involved with this, I was just with Ospreay at the end. I did not anticipate that happening at all. I wasn't picturing him maybe getting involved, and maybe he's not going. I don't think it would be the best thing for him to go after that international title. Like right now, I think he's already talking about going back after that world title. So him going to the international title doesn't make much sense. But it's one of those things where I hope he's looking at it like, hey, you're the guy going after my title. I prefer him to look at it that way. I think we're just going to see Daniel Garcia versus Will Ospreay for the title. But I don't know, like, as far as where it goes. I don't think that we're going to see MJF wrestle for that international title. If he does, I don't see him winning, which I think would be even weirder. That title is very. They made everything really interesting now because of a champion going after another champion, and it's intriguing because I just don't know how they're going to go with like MJF. I keep thinking that MJF's going to have the main of. Well, he's not going to be. Was MJF in the Owen? I can't remember.
I don't believe I saw his name.
No.
Okay, so yeah, okay, so that goes out the window. I was gonna say I see MJF going after Swerve at Open or at All In, but now that's not gonna happen. So maybe we get Ospreay versus MJF, and don't get me wrong, that's gonna sell tickets. So I guess if that's the way they go that way. But I mean, the good thing is we're thinking here, and as like Big G says in chat, unless he's the wild card, which
could be.
Yeah.
But you got Daniel Garcia's made it very clear that he wants that international title. He wants Ospreay. So that was kind of a cool little nod there. MJF did call out Ospreay in his initial promo, being like, "You calling this guy the best in the world?"
True. I forgot about
while
that.
I've been gone. So he has his eyes on Ospreay, but I bet you if MJ, like, we're all happy-go-lucky MJF's back. You know how it is. MJF's he could turn it any second, right? So he's probably waiting and going, I'm going to see what goes down at Forbidden Door here, because I do want that AEW World title, and why not face Ospreay for it if he beats Swerve, which I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of torn on that. So there is a lot of intrigue there. MJF still playing the good guy. Maybe he just was helping out because of the match that got set up at Forbidden Door for him with the Brian Cage stuff. So maybe it's nothing, but they don't do all that stuff, without there being something there. So we'll see where it goes. But it would be weird to see MJF challenge for the international title. But unless you want to make it something special, that would be a move. I don't know. I like, that was what I was talking about at the beginning of the show. So much little intrigue and so many little things that they could do. I'm like really cool with all the seeds they planted tonight. Because you could do so many things. So many branches could be born from the learning tree. Sorry, I'm getting loopy. It's getting late over here.
Not into this. So. Well, after that, we come back from commercial. We get Ospreay in the back again, walking down the hallway as Renee tries to talk to him, and Brian Cage runs after him and gets held back by security, and it ultimately results in Brian Cage challenging Will Ospreay to a match for Collision for the international title, which Brian Cage will unsuccessfully not win. So,
hey, you don't know that, did you? Did you get what are you talking about? He could win. Anything could happen. This is wrestling. No.
I mean, who's better? A lot of people have been better.
I will say Brian Cage and Will Ospreay has had some matches for Warrior Wrestling as I'm repping the shirt, and those were pretty good. So they will have a good match on Collision. But yes, Brian Cage will not be holding gold.
Well, that brings us to our main event, and it was a banger of a main event with Quayo versus Pac in the men's Owen Hart Cup quarterfinal. We get classic Quayo and classic Pac, really. I mean, if you've seen any of these guys wrestle before, you know what you're going to get. Pac has some beautiful, moonsaults off the ropes. Claudio throwing his European uppercuts left and right. And in the end, really, it's a lot of back and forth at the end, trying to reverse each other from a backslide being blocked, a small package, and then the other guy reverses a small package. But it ultimately ends up with Pac winning with a crucifix pinfall. So that was a little bit of a surprise for me. But then after that, Claudio's a little bit upset and kind of storms off, and that's kind of it, the show. So
Danielson's reaction to that pin too was really good. Like they were like, we did not expect to see that tonight. So what a match. What a match, dude.
It was a heck of a match.
Where's the fun meter? I think we give it a 4.
I go to 4.
Wow, I'm going 4.
I peed a little. And I really didn't. No, I'm kidding. But it was good. It was solid. I enjoyed it. 2 great wrestlers, and I liked how we thought we were going to see the Bastard maybe shake hands, and this time we saw the guy that usually would shake hands get out of the ring. Because if you think back about it, Claudio did that a couple weeks ago with FTR. It was too cliche, so he didn't do it then. He doesn't do it now. I like it. Keep it going. So, and I like what Danielson said. He's like, it happens.
Yeah, losing to Pac and even like a Blackpool Combat Club who, their shit doesn't stink. They're the top dogs. Like, you gotta know, like, Pac is Pac. He's damn good. So, like you said, it happens. Sometimes 2 great wrestlers go at it and you just get caught slipping. I'm more intrigued on how they're gonna refocus, because after a loss than after a win. So that'd be interesting. Good for Pac, dude. I'm so happy he's back.
Yeah. I mean, and by all predictability, we're going to get Pac versus Danielson match in the semifinal.
Oh, I'll take it. You say that like it's a bad thing, Joe. It's going to be awesome.
My God.
It's a little predictable, but I'm glad we're getting that instead of. We got the Danielson Claudio matches during their whatever their tournament would call their version of the G1. What would you call it?
Continental Classic.
Yeah. So we have that match already. So yeah, Danielson and Pac. Yeah, sign me up.
Hell yeah. That was a good night. Good show tonight, man.
Yeah, fun show.
Good show. Good fun. And then it sounds like they have a pretty loaded Collision this week as well, with a lot of the guys sticking around and going to be on that show as well. So that will be interesting to watch finally. Before we get out of here and plug away, I was going to say thank you to the people in the chat again. Big G, Doc, who else? Jesse, we mentioned, Scott George, Real Gray. I think who else here? Ophelia was here. And Mrs. Pluggo, of course. Don't want to forget Mrs. Pluggo, Kylie, and Lieutenant Colonel Frodo. So thank you guys again for joining us tonight. Always appreciate you guys coming into the chat. And thank you to Pluggo and Rob for filling in tonight for the 2 people who unsummarily decided not to join us tonight. So appreciate it, guys. When you're not, filling in at the last minute here, Pluggo, where can people find you at?
Like, I know Kate had something going on, but I didn't see any posts about Ryan having anything important to go. He's just sitting around eating Cheetos.
Yeah, Kate at Fightful.
Sad thing is, I just pictured that dude.
Yeah, you're like, it checks out, right? He's sitting at home right now doing nothing. But yeah, I know Kate's over at Fightful, but
that Ron White comedy. Like, are you sitting at home on a beanbag eating Cheetos naked? Yeah.
That's a 4 right there. I just peed a little.
I don't. That's a visual I didn't need.
There you go.
I'm gonna have nightmares tonight.
Yep. That's how we got kicked off the Shining Wizards podcast.
Yeah, I'll never be back again. So appreciate my one time on the Mark Order podcast. But no, You can find me at Pluggo on all social media platforms. So you search Pluggo, you'll find my face. It's right there. Anywhere that you are on socials, I am on socials. You can find me Thursday nights at 8 p.m. with JPJ over on the Love Wrestling Network, Between Two Beards, every Thursday night. We got a good one tomorrow, so you'll want to tune in there. And then every Saturday, this Saturday, 5 p.m. with Blair Pacheco, the Grainmaker Podcast, we're doing our Love Wrestling LPW 27 preview with Big Bad Boris and Dash in the Park for 4 Exposure. That's my weekend podcast that we talk about independent wrestling. And you can find all of my writings over at lovewrestling.ca.
Perfect. And Rob, since Kate went to Fightful tonight, we traded her for you. So we opened up that forbidden door behind you.
And cash considerations.
Yeah, I'm sorry you guys got the bad end of this, but that's okay. Guys, you can follow me at Rob Wilkins on Twitter or X. I'm also on Instagram and Threads at Fightful every Friday at 3 o'clock Eastern. You can catch me on Fightful Overbooks, coexisting with Rob and Maggie. We have a fun show for an hour and a half. We just talk wrestling and nonsense and try to not be the most non-safe for work show for Fightful, but we usually are, so we keep that tradition going. So, but we have a good old time, so check it out every Friday at 3 o'clock Eastern.
Absolutely, you do a great job of doing that, so kudos to both of you. Go follow the guys and listen to them, watch them, support them. You can find me on social media at _Asian Joe. You can follow my serial review blog that I have linked in my social media bio if you want to read about novelty serials. Otherwise, you can also just follow the Mark Order Pod at Mark Order Pod on social media. Don't forget to like this video on the way out. Don't forget about our Pro Wrestling Tees store, ProWrestlingTees/Mark Order Pod, and pick up a shirt if you want to help support us that way as well. Otherwise, that will do it for tonight, guys. Thank you again, and we are out. I can find music.
This concludes the Mark Order Podcast. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Join the Mark Order.